Hey, they go low and we go high. They play ego limbo on the other side. We keep humble, ain't no honor in your pride. Lying in me, lethal weapon on my side. Praise my God, promise we ain't coming down. Same thing for the crown, same thing for the team. Breaking down any op, only care about what God say. My behalf with the tribe, yeah. All the glory to my Yahweh, all the glory to my God, yeah. I did my toe and now I'm fresh, yeah. Shout out to my Abba, yeah. I follow, no regrets, yeah. They ain't learn their lesson, I'm still blessed when disrespected. Father got me eating while they out here looking packaged. Ugh, you just mad I ain't following Twitter D. Looking at me like enemy, only like in vicinity. I'm so high with the energy, yeah. You follow his way, yeah. Follow his way, yeah. Laser light show never fade, no. Ain't no stage chill. We got all night, no switch, we that bright light. On lane, we might take flight. Flight check ain't no right height. We don't fall or lose sight. Follow his way, yeah. Follow his way, yeah. We got the juice, we got the watts. Ain't no way we fade. They go low and we go high. They play ego limbo on the other side. We keep humble, ain't no honor in your pride. Lying in me, lethal weapon on my side. Praise my God, promise we ain't coming down. Same thing for the crown, same thing for the team. Breaking down any op, only care about what God say. My behalf with the tribe, yeah. All the glory to my Yahweh, all the glory to my God, yeah.
Peace, peace, peace. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? I'm sorry. I apologize for not being in the studio for the last week. Like I sincerely apologize for that. As you can tell, I got some new features to the actual studio. Bought a brand new webcam. Uh, I've been working. I got a music video that I've been working on, like 3 music videos I've been working on for different artists. I also have, oh yeah, I got my hat on today. I got my thinking cap on today. But yeah, I've been working on music videos, graphic design, all of that stuff. I just not have not had the real time to keep up with the news. So I know I am behind the curve on a lot of things that I actually wanted to talk about. So I made me a list. I got a list like Santa Claus, and I'm checking it twice. So I'm going to be checking that today. But today we have a beautiful video for you that all of you might have seen, but I have not done my take on it yet. Since I just had to talk about it because it's very disgusting how uh, the national news is right now. How they're taking this situation as far as the election goes, when almost everything going on with the election, like they said, is normal. But they're trying to make everything out to be abnormal. This is recounts have happened in elections. We had the the Gore, uh, Bush, Florida recount that was part of history. None of this stuff is nothing that we're talking about right now is abnormal. The only thing that is abnormal is the fact that we have the national news out here telling people that they won, they need to get over it, and this, that, and the third, and they happy because they got their win back from their Hillary Clinton win back with Black Hillary Clinton herself. Uh, Indian Hillary Clinton, I should say. I have to correct myself on that one. Indian Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris. I don't know how to say her name correctly. I don't. I have a cousin named Kamala. Uh, but her name might be Kamala. But we're not going to go into that. But yeah, so we have their Hillary Clinton win back, and then we have their Obama triumph again with O'Biden. Uh, so yeah, I mean, none of this stuff is actually really newsworthy because it's happened before. Also, um, they're touting a success as if they're touting a success, but they lost when it comes to the Senate. They were saying they were going to get a landslide, a trifecta, where they're going to have both the House and the Senate. That didn't happen. But we already discussed that part. But again, we're just gonna go ahead and get into this video. This Van Jones video, this very disgusting Van Jones video, where he's sitting here crying. And I'm just gonna break it down because man, this junk is just stupid on so many levels. It's just stupid on so many levels. And I hate to say it like this, and I don't mean to be insensitive uh to people and being human. My biggest gripe about this entire situation, I'm gonna switch it back. My entire gripe about this whole situation is the fact that we have the corporate news trying to again uh, sit here and try to make it seem like they are emotionally attached to the normal people when they're not. They're they're watchdogs, and I, it's just difficult for me to watch people on the national news, especially these pundits, when they actually don't do anything for. They have no real they have no real love for the American people. They just don't. They don't understand the American people and what the American people actually want. They just don't. So we're gonna go into this video. This is the Van Jones video. I don't know if anybody saw this. If you have, you have. If you didn't, you did. We're just gonna go through it. You're gonna go through it with me.
Van, what are your thoughts?
It's well, it's easier to be a parent this morning. It's easier to be a dad. It's easier to tell your kids character matters. It matters. Telling the truth matters. Being a good person matters. And it's easier for a whole lot of people. If you're Muslim.
One thing I want to say is I'm going to get to this first point where he says being a parent. Being a parent in America, it's easier to be a parent now in America. How? When if we go with what the premise is that being a parent in this day and age is easier now that Trump is out of presidency. But we have a new presidency that wants to sit here and tell parents how they can and can't educate their children. I can't give my children sexual education the way I want to because your administration and the people that you follow tell me that I'm a bigot because I want to say what I want to say and teach my kids how I want to teach them and teach them when I want to teach them and how I want to teach them. But it's easier to be a parent. How? If character matters and you saying the truth matters, why would you also then support Joe Biden, who's lied the entire time? Kamala Harris, who has lied the entire time. Just because they said it with a smile, just because they said it nicer, didn't mean that it wasn't a lie. He said there was going to be fracking. There is no fracking. He doubled down on the Van Jones. Van Jones is a black man. He doubled down on the 95 crime bill, and you still supported this man. Character matters. You know, the same man that went against your grandmother and grandparents and probably your generation for them busing you to school when it came to desegregation. You mean that character? The character that sent off millions, thousands upon thousands of soldiers to go to the Iraq war twice. Because this Iraq war is just a second iteration of the Iraq war before it, which was the 72-hour war. But we don't want to talk about that when Joe Biden was one of the persons who signed off on it and continued them, and the bombings in Syria, and then the administration of Obama when he was the vice president, when they ran out of bombs because they were bombing Muslims so much. But you want to say Trump is evil, bad and evil because he stopped people from being able to come through the airport. But you guys bombed them to death, drone strike them to death, including civilians, and never once apologized. But we're going to talk about character. The news media, especially CNN, is mad at Fox right now because Fox News is losing their merits with the American people also. But again, CNN is mad at Fox because they stealing all of their ratings because of this crap right here. Because of this crap right here, where we have this man right here who is sitting here telling you that that Donald Trump was the worst thing that could ever happen, and it stopped him from being a parent. Last time I checked, it don't matter who's in presidency, I still got to be a parent. I still have to teach my children about the society because according to history, during the Obama administration is when the Black Lives Matter movement came up, and we had a black president. So why would we need a Black Lives Matter organization if we had a black president who was supposed to represent the black community? But we want to talk about character. We want to talk about character. The same people who didn't even endorse Joe Biden in the beginning. But we want to talk about character. This news organization is doing a terrible job of actually talking about the news when they want to tell you that the Hunter Biden situation was fake news. They went along with Joe Biden when we all know that it was true what happened with the Hunter Biden situation. Now, the amount of the situation that happened between Hunter Biden and Joe Biden is still out for the jury to figure out. It's still out for investigation. But again, what are we doing here? Like, are we doing the news, or is this just opinion TV? Because if it's not the news, stop saying you're the news. Stop trying to put stories out here because most of these things are opinion pieces. They're not really trying to give you the truth. They're trying to indoctrinate you.
In this country, you don't have to worry if the president doesn't want you here. If you're an immigrant, you don't have to worry if the president's going to be happier to have babies snatched away or send dreamers back for no reason. This is vindication for a lot of people who have really suffered. You know, the I can't breathe. You know, that wasn't just George Floyd. That was a lot of people that felt that they couldn't breathe. Every day you.
This man is tripping. This man is tripping, bro. Tripping. Bro, you tripping. People felt that it couldn't be here. Are we forgetting that Joe Biden and Barack Obama were the two people who sat up here and built the cages? Are we forgetting the fact that Joe Biden literally just put somebody in his cabinet that advocates for separating kids at the border? What? Bro, you are tweaking. And I hate to say this, but man, these people can't tell the truth because their pockets somebody's hand is so far in their pockets, they're afraid if they tell the truth that somebody is going to take their money away from them. This is what all this is about. This is an enormous act. It's a whole act here. It's an act. That's all it is. This is a complete act. He's not serious. Your man's is not serious. He can't be. He literally cannot be serious if this is what he's saying. Like, people are afraid to be in this country. Bro, are you serious? Did you forget the fact that Obama deported more people in 8 years than any other president before him or after him. But, you know, everybody was asleep during the Obama administration. Everybody was asleep during that administration because they were so happy to have a black president. We're correcting history's wrongs by having a representation of blackness, which, to be honest, we've never really had a black president or vice president. They're both mixed. That means something because that goes back to the racism that we had before in slavery, where we had the house slaves and the field slaves. We'll never have a field slave president. They don't want a field slave president. They want a house slave president. That's a big difference. Because that shows you how much they care about the workers. They want to have the illusion of freedom as the representation of the government when it comes to the Democratic Party and not the real. Kamala Harris is not a black woman. She went to a HBCU, but that doesn't make her black. I just saw a girl with a guy that going ODU, ODU hoodie on. That doesn't make her white. Going to a HBCU does not make you black. It doesn't give you an upgrade on the black experience. And then on top of that, we don't even know how she got into ODU because we still have to talk about the fact that we still have what is it? I keep forgetting what the name of the program is where they allow people by their color. That happens both ways. So you have colleges who have to let black people into their actual schools, but you also have HBCUs who have to have a certain amount of other colored, other races in their colleges too. So it goes both ways. So we don't know if Kamala Harris was part of affirmative action. She could have been an affirmative action, a part of the affirmative action when it comes to having them going to a HBCU. We don't know that. But nonetheless, when we're talking about this situation, where he's talking about people being in this country, this dude is tweaking. Van Jones is out of his freaking mind. And I hate to say it like that, but I have to. He's off his rocker. He's off kilter. To be sitting up here crying as a grown man, talking about people not wanting to be in this country. Let's not forget, again, Obama had travel restrictions too under his administration. That's a fact. So that's nothing new. The only thing that's changing, the only thing that's different is the fact that y'all don't have an enemy anymore. Now it's okay for you to do more fluff pieces to be able to keep on with the charade that you're going on with, and you have been going on with, trying to make it seem as if America is actually this utopia that you guys want to try to create where everybody is inclusive, but the biggest discreditment to you trying to create this as a utopia for everyone is the fact that you keep fighting for only one group of people. And that group of people is a group of people who is less than 1% of the entire population.
You're waking up and you're getting these tweets and you just don't know, and you're going to the store and people who have been afraid to show their racism are getting nastier and nastier to you, and you're worried about your kids, and you're worried about your sister. And can she just go to Walmart and get back into her car without somebody saying something to her? And you spent so much of your life energy just trying to hold it together. And this is a big deal for us just to be able to get some peace and have a chance for a reset. And the character of the country matters.
So you mean to tell me that racism is apparent to you solely because we have a new president. See, they're trying to take this back to when Obama was president and say, we're not a racist country. We got a black president. Now we got Joe Biden in presidency. Now we're not gonna have a lot of racism. Bro, bigotry is going to exist in this country regardless if you want to or not. It's not going to end. It's not going to end. Bigotry is always going to be here. Racism is also always going to be here. And if you really want to get to the nitty-gritty of the situation, if you really want to get to the nitty-gritty of it, Van Jones is totally forgetting he's advocating for a huge racist himself. This man enacted, if you want to talk about institutional racism or racism in itself, you have the vice president elect and the president elect who have both been huge advocates for institutional racism, where they have both locked up black women for Kamala Harris locking up black men and women locking up black men, keeping them in jail even when they're innocent, even on death row, innocent on death row, as well as locking up black mothers because their children aren't going to school. Like, then you have Joe Biden, who advocated for the 95 crime bill, advocated for kicking black families out of their homes because they wanted to make the banks happy, advocating for the busing situation, calling black men and black teens super predators. Bro, this guy is off of his rocker because he's fighting for, or he's trying to be in the I don't know, man. Van Jones is tweaking, bro. I don't even know how to begin to make this sound right, because it's not. He wants to sit here and say character matters, but the character of the people that he's endorsing also have to matter. You can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too, and say one is wrong for what he's doing, for the lying and all of this other stuff, but then turn around and say the other one isn't wrong, the other one is right for what he was doing. Now let's just say, for giggles, for stars and giggles, let's just say that the Democrats did cheat during this election cycle, and there is huge voter fraud that they know about and they created. They're going to be like, all right, it's cool. It's okay. It's fine. You know, he did it because he was trying to do it for the betterment of the people. They lack a moral compass. They lack a total moral compass. They don't have a moral compass at all. At all. Not even the least bit do they have a moral compass. They lack it.
And being a good man matters. You know, I just want my sons to look at this. Look at this. You know, it's easy to do it the cheap way and get away with stuff, but it comes back around. It comes back around. And this is a good day for this country. I'm sorry for the people who lost. For them, it's not a good day. But for a whole lot of people, it's a good day.
Gloria?
This whole little spill with Van Jones it's ugly, bruh. It's ugly. It's nothing to say about it. It's just ugly. It's highly disgraceful for this man to sit up here and act as if that everything is so much better just because we switch presidents. Acting so much better because we have a new president, a new face for the country. let alone what that person actually did within his 40, 45 years, almost a half a decade in office, in government, let alone what he did, his entire track record, let alone that. We don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about the fact that Trump was the enemy because he told you that the news was fake and the news was lying. And here they are sitting up here. And here we are with one of the pundits of the national news having a hissy fit or crying emotion, getting emotional because we switch presidents. I have never seen this before. Not in my 34 years of living. When have we ever seen something like this? This is odd. This shows you the emotional, this shows you the amount of emotional manipulation they do to people in order to get what they want. They have no substance. They lack substance. And that's the reason why Trump did better with more of the population than he did the last time, because the news media is lacking substance. The reason people are jumping boat is because the news media on almost every national news channel that's paid for by these corporations, or we should just say corporate news channel, lacks substance. They lack substance. That's why people on YouTube are getting more views than the news can. They're not connected to the people. Van Jones couldn't even get a complete thought across or make a complete statement. This is what we call shucking and jiving. Because he's happy that Joe Biden won. Tearfully so. What happened to coronavirus? Where we have so many people out here running who after election was running around, to include some of these governors running out here with communities, no mask on, none of that stuff. And they want to lock us down. But everybody who told you if you vote for Biden, he's going to lock the country down, he's saying he's not. But the reason why, but think about it. Think about it. After the election, how many cities and states went on lockdown? Think about it. Think about it. Immediately. When they said Joe Biden won, think about it. People was already telling you they're gonna lock the country down. We already know the country's going to get locked down again. We know that by their track record. And you're fooling yourself if you think it's not going to happen, because I'm in a state right now. Virginia's already getting their restrictions put on them. Chicago. And we're going to talk about that. Probably going to talk about that tomorrow. I don't know yet. But almost all of these cities and states are getting locked down again. All because we have a president who's going to advocate for them locking it down. And the beauty of it is they wanted to say that the end of the coronavirus was Trump's fault, but Trump had given the directive that anything that goes on with the coronavirus from like a couple of months ago was straight to the states. The coronavirus situation is now a state issue. So now that we have a president who doesn't have to worry about advocating for shutdowns, they can just do shadow shutdowns and not even worry about it, because the president of the United States will back them. And guess what? More people are going to lose their businesses. More people are going to lose their jobs. More people are going to lose because of how the infrastructure is going to be ran now. But again, this whole Van Jones crying on television thing is highly distasteful. Highly distasteful. And it shows you how much he talks about character, but then when we go back and look at the character of the people that he's endorsing, when we go back to the character of the people that of him and what he's saying, it does not fit. Again, this is why This is why they're losing when it comes to bringing the news to the people, because they're not bringing the news, they're bringing opinion pieces, and nobody cares about opinion pieces. They want to hear what's actually going on. That's why a huge swath of Republicans actually do not trust what's going on with the voting scandal, right? Saying that the vote is incorrect and Donald Trump won. The reason why that is because they're getting what their information from other people and not these corporate news entities who already was going to say Trump lost. They were touting Trump was going to lose. They've been saying Trump was going to lose since before he even became president. So how could they even trust you to begin with? And then all of the discrepancies that happened during the time. Again, people are listening to other people. They'll listen to the news, but they're not really listening to the news unless they're indoctrinated by the news. Older people watch the news. People in my generation, we don't look at the news. Not really, unless you're on YouTube and you're watching it to, say your piece. But again, this whole situation with this Van Jones crying because Trump, as they say it, is not the president right now. That's, bro, fake tears. It was just disingenuous. The way he was just sitting there, and just going on and on, it was so disingenuous. It was highly disingenuous. It was really disingenuous. And it shows you how much they actually care. He couldn't even say, he said, and the people who can't breathe, and who are the people that said they can't breathe? Because Van Jones, if you're trying to make this a racial issue, there are multiple Caucasians who actually had situations with the police also. But and they said they couldn't breathe. But we don't talk about that. We try to make the policing issue a race issue when it's not a race issue. It's just an authority issue. And there has to be restrictions on the authority that's given. Not defunding the police, but just putting more restrictions on them so that these things won't happen. Like we had to do when we were in the army, when we were in full-fledged war. The restrictions that we had to deal with. You understand what I'm saying? And we were dealing with people who weren't citizens of our country. I don't have a problem with that. But I do have a problem with you sitting here and can't even say George Floyd's name correctly. He's the people. You sitting up here trying to play like you're the authority of truth. When your news organization has lied so many times on television, they just lie. And you don't even have to like the president. You don't have to like the president to see how much they lied on this man. You don't have to like him to see that. You just don't. You don't have to like the president to sit up here and know that the news was lying on him most of the time. You don't. But for them to sit up here and they lie, and then they endorse somebody who lies, and then you want to sit up here and talk about character and how the country is better and this, that, and the third. Like, how is the country any better? He hasn't even implemented any kind of policy. And that's this is one of the things that really ticks me off, is the fact that they will go out here and talk about feelings over politics, feelings over policy. I don't care how they make me feel. I want to know what the policy is and how I'm supposed to interact with the people who govern me over me when it comes to policy and politics. That's all I care about, because that's their job. Their job is not to make me happy or feel good inside or bring me flowers when I'm sick. That's not their job. Their job is to create policy that makes us successful. But we've lost sight of that. We've lost sight of what people are actually supposed to do. And that has to do with people not wanting to put proper titles on things, put proper infrastructure in place, define things properly, define things absolutely. Now anything can be whatever you want to call it. That's chaos. So what they're advocating for is more chaos. They're okay with creating more chaos, to which they already have. Because we have an electoral system, and that's not over yet. The popular vote does not call you to become president. The Electoral College does. How do you think last time, and we already touched on this, they tried to switch up the rules this time, but last time, did Hillary Clinton not win the popular vote? But she lost the Electoral Colleges. I'm confused. How did she lose the Electoral College, but she got the popular vote? But what they're telling you on the news is he won the popular vote, therefore he won the Electoral Colleges. That's not how that works. But we already know they had a coup already set up during the coronavirus. A compact. And if you want to go back to that, go back to my video about the HR, the House Bill HB. I forgot what the number is right now, but the House Bill Virginia put it in where there's a compact with many states who give their Electoral College, their electoral votes to whoever wins the popular vote, which steals the vote actually from the rest of the country. That's how at 7 p.m. They already called Virginia. Even though when you look at the map of almost every single county in Virginia, majority of it is red, and majority of the country is red. There's an issue here. But I'm going to close it out, man. Again, man, this whole situation with these pundits kissing the feet of the quote-unquote new administration is sickening. And it shows you the elitism and how far they're willing to go in order to get their way. And that's how the Nazi Party actually started. When they started taking away your guns, and then they started taking away your rights, and then they started building themselves up within the media. It's history, man. It's history. Love you all, man. Tune in next time. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to and if you really want to really want me to keep going with this, and hit my Cash App, donate to my Cash App. I really appreciate it. Peace and blessings to all of you guys. Peace.
Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, they go low and